Alright, we're on another adventure. Going up to the Fairy Glen, or down to the Fairy Glen. Going to a Fairy Glen. We are near the town of Uig on the Isle of Skye, Scotland. I'm killing some time while we wait for the ferry that will take us to the Hebrides. And there's a place called the Fairy Glen that hosts some unusual geological formations. This is Fairy Glen. There's a network of trails in here. There are people way up there on top of that. I might be mistaken, but I think that's called Castle Ewen. I don't know if we're going to get up there or not. We'll see what the trail's like. The Glen's distinctive cone-shaped hills and terraces are the result of landslips, huge sections of land slowly collapsing and shifting. Castle Ewen is a natural rock outcrop. The harder basalt on top has resisted erosion, while the surrounding material wore away, leaving a steep, isolated formation. Whoa. It is so named because it happens to somewhat share the proportions of a hilltop castle. Interestingly, the Fairy Glen is not ancient folklore ground in the traditional sense. There's no deep-rooted historical fairy mythology tied specifically to this glen. The stone spirals are new additions, created perhaps to add some mythology to the location. It was time to head to Harris Island. The day after we arrived, our rental car refused to start, so we had to abandon it in the town of Stornoway. We were not only missing our transportation, we were also missing our four-legged companion, which made us excited for what was coming next. We stopped by a farm to watch border collies do their thing. These working dogs were nothing short of amazing.
Puppies are 22 days old.
So we're on a trail heading to something called the Fyrish Monument, and it has a kind of an interesting history, and I'll share a little later in the video. It was pouring rain when we left our lodging this morning, and 5 minutes later the sun came out, and it's been out ever since. We got a great breakfast at a place called the Storehouse Restaurant. You know, it was just a shot in the dark that we picked that one. We had no idea what we were choosing when I looked at the map on my phone. It turned out to be a really nice restaurant and gift shop, and very comfortable and very nice people. The Fyrish Monument has a surprisingly rich and complicated history that ties together empire, hardship, and the Highland clearances. The monument was built in 1782 by Sir Hector Munro, a local landowner in northern Scotland. Munro had made his fortune and reputation serving in the British Army, especially in India during the expansion of the British Empire. The structure is modeled on a fortress gate in India, which Munro captured for the British in 1781. Look at the sun filtering through the trees. That's so nice. So this is one of those trails. Maybe avoid some crowds by coming out here, because so far every major trail we've been to, like the Kerrang and Old Man of Store and some of the others even, they are pretty busy places. So this is kind of a refreshing change. So it looks like we're getting out of the woodland area of the trail. Definitely clearing, and I can see the top at our destination, I think. Wind is definitely picking up.
Oh wow, all lined up there.
Yeah.
Those are oil rigs, eh?
Yeah. There's a cruise ship in port. Looks like a cruise ship anyway. So yeah, we've definitely seen a new face of Scotland today. Those mountains and hills of the Highlands have been replaced by nice rolling hills, pasture, agricultural lands. But the views are nonetheless still spectacular. Well, I just ate something that looked and tasted like a blueberry, but I wasn't 100% positive it was, so it probably wasn't the smartest thing I did today. So the monuments are just over this crest. We saw the tops of them a few meters ago. So the trail has been a pretty steady climb from the parking lot, but nothing steep, fairly gentle in fact. There's a few people, like I mentioned, on the trail, but I'm really grateful for having a chance just to get out in the Scottish countryside and not be swarmed by other people doing the exact same thing I'm doing, and actually find something of interest like this. So I have to give a proper shout out to All Trails for picking this out for me as a suggested trail based on my location. This is where the story gets more interesting. At the time, the Highlands were undergoing the early stages of the Highland clearances, a period when tenants were being evicted to make way for sheep farming. Munro claimed the monument was built to provide employment to displaced and struggling locals. He offered wages during a time of poverty and upheaval. Workers hauled heavy stones up the hill to construct the monument, hard manual labor in a harsh environment. Architecturally, the monument is what's known as a folly. It looks like a ruined gate or fortress, but has no practical function. Let's just walk a little bit more away from the monument to get to the crest of the hill and see what we can see. Today, the Fyrish monument is seen in two very different ways. The benevolent interpretation, a landlord helping his tenants survive hard times, essentially an early example of relief work, or the critical interpretation, the monument is a symbol of colonial wealth and power built by a man involved in military campaigns abroad and the economic changes that displaced local people. Whatever the interpretation, the structures and the site on which they occupy offer the visitor plenty to see and contemplate. Thanks for watching.